can you paint us a picture of what 2053 might look like for humans? And you can choose a specific domain, or you can choose life in general.
Oh, sure. We're going to have digital information at the ready, overlaid over our eyeballs all the time. Because straight talk, if we were, you look back at a picture from the 1980s and you notice all the anachronisms, right? I was doing this with my mom this weekend, and we're looking at family photos, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's a Rubik's Cube. Remember those? Like, hey, look at the shag carpeting. It's adorable, right? Well, I think we're going to look back at pictures of 2023 and say, oh my gosh, look at all the screens. Look at all the glowing rectangles. Don, it's peak screen, right? We're up to our eyeballs in 16 by 9 pixel beds. They're everywhere. How many screens do you figure you have in your room right now, brother?
Oh, 3 that I can see.
Right. The per capita screen amount in any given group I tend to be with is somewhere between 2 and 4, right? Because you got the phone, you got the other phone, you got the laptop, maybe the tablet, you got the thing on your wrist. Too much of anything is too much. And Da Vinci supposedly said the greatest sophistication is simplicity. And so we run around fixating on big clunky headsets right now, thinking, like, I don't want to wear a VCR on my face. I don't want to wear a toaster on my head. That's not my future. But I think in 2053, we'll look back to big honkin' headsets as like the 8-track tape, right? The mini disc player that bridged the old and the new. Or from that perspective, right, the before times and the normal, right? Good-looking smart glasses, good-looking smart contacts. It's going to be the thing, not because it's shiny, not because it's a fad to be fetishized, but because it's simpler.
So you talked about interact, info, and computation. Do you want to touch on info and computation?
Yeah. Don, if interaction, 30 years from now is likely to be a move towards simplicity, right? A superset of what we could see with a beautiful, refined subset of what we should see, right? I think the information story is likely to be a story that recognizes that whereas interaction has been a 150-year move towards simplicity, information has been a 150-year move towards intelligence. Now, one of my big ahas over my 25 years working in newfangled tech, as I transition in my career from geek to geezer, right, is I've recognized that AI isn't new, right? As Larry Tesler, right, the computer scientist from Xerox years ago, he invented copy paste. So as far as I'm concerned, Geek Hall of Fame, listen to this guy.
First ballot. Oh, first ballot.
First ballot, MVP. He said, listen, AI is whatever computers can't do yet. And I always get goosebumps when I think about that or hear that or even repeat it because, in 1956, that was, quadratic equations or something, right? In 1996, it was beating a grandmaster in chess. Right? I had a professor, he's like, this will never happen. And then it happens. And he doesn't concede. He says, but it's not really AI. Okay, well then what is, Doc, right? Is it winning Jeopardy? Right? Is it winning the game of Go? Is it writing a poem? Is it writing a really, really good poem? We tend to doubt the next minor miracle, but then the moment we pull it off with a mechanical mind, we dismiss it. Why? Because since 1956, right, the first time the term was coined, we're proud of our digital creations, but we're not so much so that we want to dismiss our pride of place as humans. And so I think part of this, Don, is recognizing that in 2053, we're going to have mechanical intelligence that would strike us as miraculous. Specifically, what we're starting to see with generative AI, right, is less of this like OMG, change of kind, black to white, white to black kind of binary switch. When you look over the long span of history, what you say is, wow, we figured out how to take the whole corpus of human knowledge and make it conversational.
We've talked about interact, information. Do you want to talk about computation before we get into what people are going to be shaking their heads at in the future about what we're doing today?
Yeah, I'd love to. Computation has been a journey towards abundance, about pulling rabbits out of hats in ways that allow us to do more with less, right? In ways that allow us to create answers that scale faster than our problems. In short, the big thing we see looming per our research is it's the B word, right? But when you say blockchain, the B word, people's eyes kind of, B word has an image problem, right? It had the weird pseudonymous founding. It had the series of, dark web moments. Then you had the, recent ups and downs with crypto. But through this lens of history, the reason I think that decentralized computation platforms are so compelling and will become de rigueur, right, or normal by 2053, is that there's a bit of a recognition that none of us is as trustworthy as all of us. That like years ago, you had a computer, I had a computer, whose was true? I don't know, right? It was dueling banjos. And then you got to client server and cloud where you still have big corporations playing the role of truth teller, oracle, arbiter, right? But we're kind of getting to this moment in history, thanks to AI and simplicity as discussed, where when you can't trust your own eyes, right? You can no longer get by with the Gen X platitude of like, pics or it didn't happen, right? Pics or it didn't happen, bro. I need to see it with my own eyes. Well, in a world of deepfakes and Gen AI, that doesn't even work. And so what we're starting to see is sort of this notion of chain or it didn't happen, right? If it's not on a certifiable, all of us are the arbiter of truth kind of a frame, then can we really trust it? And so 2053, I think we'll think less of individual computers and more about the computer, the globally networked truth box that does the math and proves it happened. And then gradually, right, it's been 5 years away for the last 15 years. But when quantum is ready, the idea of getting past digital and into post-digital, I think that 1-2 punch, that left hook, right jab will be the 2053 basis for trustworthy computing.